Alright, so continuing the pose, and as I'm looking here, we have a lot of things to work on this region and correct all the overall pose. But before we do this, I think it would be nice to close already the hands and try to make the punch. So let's do a quickly pose on the hands and try to make the punch this way. Um, let's start to bend each finger. Let's see, so here I'm gonna start by isolating just the hands, and what I will actually try to do is to close each hand, each finger, like going through the center, you know. So I'm gonna bend each one, but being sure that they are all going through the center. So let's start it. Yeah. Here I'm gonna use the mask lasso. You can select it by pressing Ctrl and using the mask lasso here. Okay, and then I'm gonna select all the finger. I'm gonna mask it all the finger like this, invert my selection, do a just a blur, and where it is. Okay, I think we need to mask all the rest of the body. And then once I use my go to unmasked center shortcut that you can set over here, then I have my gizmo on the center of the masked region, right? So I'm gonna bring the gizmo to the joints region, and then starts to bend the finger. Make sure the orientation, that if that's correct, and let's see, where are the fingernails? Yeah, they are just right here. So we have to bend into this axis at first, right? Where is the second joint? It will be like here. So let's mask it, invert the mask, and go to uncentered, unmasked center, sorry. And then go over here and let's see, one level of subdivision higher, like this. Maybe this gizmo should be more where the joint will be. So this painting is not working very good, so I have to maybe make the mask sharpen. So I invert the mask, and with Ctrl and Alt and click over the mask region, I can sharpen the mask. And then if I blur it, it's gonna goes with less mask. It's gonna shrink the mask, just as I did, and then I can sharpen the mask once again. So you know, every time you click over the mask with Ctrl, you will shrink the mask, and then you can sharpen it, and you can go like walking through the finger and shrinking the mask all along it. Here I actually blurred the mask, and now I'm gonna invert and then do the bend. So you can always check your own finger to have a look. We're gonna have kind of a square region for the fingers there, and here you can use this kind of mask. Just make sure that the orientation it's in the right angle, and good. Oh, try to avoid this kind of thing, like, so you can maybe do a blur, and then once you remove the mask with move brush and backface masking, you can try to correct the shapes on the internal part just by pulling the fingers like that. Okay. I think actually for a punch we're gonna have to bend even more this region. So go to a masked center, place the pivot, and then you can bend even more like this. Alright. After we can correct all the contacts. Let's do the same for the others. Invert the mask, go to a masked center with the pivot, confirm that you have that region you want, just the finger that you are working on the mask. So you can confirm that by using this button, you know, the go to a masked center, or in my case I've set a hotkey. Position it well over the joint, the joint region, and then you can bend it once again like this, and then in the region of the other joint you can mask the rest. Go to a masked center, place on the joint region, verify the angle, and then bend it. Maybe one blur in the mask, and bend it one more time. Now I'm using the mask with transpose. Go to a masked center, verify the angle, and bend. We're gonna do this with all the fingers, but notice that we're gonna have to correct some shapes. After we can correct it better, but let's already go for the other. Sometimes you can even do that technique to correct using move brush and backface mask turned on, so you can recover some volume on the regions that we have lost, but we're gonna need to correct the contacts with the hands anyways. But first, let's try to make with the same with all the fingers. Blur it just one time, once. So invert the mask, go to masked center, verify if it's really well on the center region. And try to always, almost see the structure behind it, so you can check your own hands and compare the silhouette and also the angles that each joint makes when you are making up to do a punch, right? So from here I can mask all the rest here and go to masked center, so it's better now on center. Place the right orientation and place on the region of the joint. Maybe one blur, and then you can bend it one time. You're gonna have to correct all the highs of each finger and to be sure that you are making those arches and everything. Position it right in the middle. And rotate it. The last one blur, invert the mask, go to masked center and position over the region, the joints region. Rotate it. It's because of this I always say to you guys to take care about the angle, it was here and it was not on into the right angle, so like the finger will bend in this angle right here. I'm working with the gizmo always just by pressing the alt key. Then I can change only the gizmo. I'm not sure if I have said this. Okay. Here I'm going back because I was comparing the knuckles and we're gonna have to correct these knuckles. I like to grab sometimes a little bit more than what I want, because this way I have a more transition for the finger, for the mask. The first bend is more like 90 degrees, and the second one will be like 45 almost. It's between 90 and 45, I think. So here I can invert my mask, and I'm not able to select the other mask there. Maybe the joints, yeah, this region. So I'm gonna make the mask over this part. Center and bend it again. Can even smooth some part. Good. So here I'm trying to select just this finger, and then I can correct its size. Invert the mask like this, and from this part I want the mask starting here, so I'm gonna go shrinking the mask by, you know, sharpening and blurring, sharpening and blurring, sharpening and blurring, and then sharpening. Good. So I can blur just once, and then I can position it better, close to the other fingers, point it more to the center. And then I can use the same mask and make a better contact for the hands right there. So now I'm using like move brush in a big size, and I'm going to correct this, right? So bring it more like this. We can use move brush with back face masking. All right. So let's try again to make this mask, and then invert the mask, and we can smooth this region a little bit just to make sure that the other finger will be shown. You can even sometimes use a little bit of inflate brush. Use the move brush with topological, turn it on, so you will be able to work just on one finger at a time. Yeah, so let's continue with this posing over the next lecture.